Suckers, here we are again. Another freaking day. It's Tuesday, busy day. Boy, I got all kinds of crap to talk about today. I wrote a whole bunch of things down. I got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So yeah, today we're going to talk about, America's got to get right with making stuff, and this has been a big issue for me most of my life. And for some reason, we're just now getting around to the fact that America's soft. Like, we're the softest country there is. We make Europe look strong, for crying out loud. And that's not a military statement. That's not a statement on our economy. That's just a statement on our ability to do hard things, to do stuff that is not really pleasant, right? And that's to have conversations that people don't want to have anymore, right? Like the idea of working in an unsafe environment, like that used to be something that men did, and it was a good thing, and we all respected it and knew that it needed to be done. But now we've basically denigrated this kind of work, and we've relegated it to illegal aliens. We've relegated it to underclass people. We've relegated it to other countries. Anything but an American doing this work, right? It's always some, college-educated person that has some idea about how safe everything needs to be. And the truth is that we've been doing this for so long now that America can't really do anything. And everything that we do is so dang expensive because it's too difficult. It's full of regulations. It's full of, you can't do this. You have to do it this way. It costs, X amount of dollars. You have to jump through all these hoops, go through all the red tape, that America cannot do anything anymore, And it really bothers me as someone who never went to school. Managed to start a company, worked hard all his life, and that's the point of this channel. This channel is to show people that you can own your own business as just a normie, dumb person like myself. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to have parents that, gave you a business or showed you how everything was done. Like, we can do this stuff here in America. And I'm getting real frustrated and tired of hearing about how we can't do things or we don't do that anymore. That's beneath us. You hear all these people talk about who's going to pick all the fruit if we kick out the illegal aliens. Who's going to, make all of our houses. Like, they act like we never did this shit before. Like, funny story, my mom used to pick strawberries. My mom's, I don't know what she is now. She's got to be getting close to 70 at this point. She was born in 58. And point is that we used to do this stuff. And we like to think that we're better than that now. And that ethos has really rocked our country, and so it really bothers me. So we're going to talk about that kind of stuff today. I got some good examples. The real popular one right now is this rare earths thing. I'm going to tell you guys a real story behind rare earths, because I was listening to the New York Times talk about how we can't do rare earths here in America, and it infuriates me as someone who's always worked with their hands, loves working hard, grew up in a family where people worked hard, and it just pisses me off to no end, because it's not true. It's not true that America can't make stuff here. I mean, you got to be kidding me. You got to absolutely be kidding me. We're too good to mine rare earths. Did you know America has just as many rare earths as any other country on the face of the earth? They try and tell you that we don't have that here, okay? The largest deposits in America are in California, right? Wyoming, and Alaska, right? And you know why we can't get those rare earths here? You know why they always say, well, we don't have the rare earths. It's not that we don't have them. It's that we can't mine them, because of all the regulations we have here, right? I grew up in Oregon, and we used to call these people the tree-hugging hippies, the owl lovers, right? Save the spotted owl. They basically destroy industries trying to save some animals. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't save animals and we shouldn't have clean air and clean drinking water and all these kind of things. I wholeheartedly believe in that shit. But if it stifles production of things or basically makes us dependent on people that are 5,000 miles away, 10,000 miles away, I got a problem with that, and it says something to the next generation. It makes a generation of pussies, right? Which is what we have with all these college students. All these people running around with gobs of tattoos all over the place and pink hair and fucking nose rings and stuff like that. We've created a bunch of people that have no consequences for their actions, and we gotta fix this issue, guys, and we can do it. We can absolutely do it. So I wrote down just a whole ton of stuff. This is gonna be a conversation about how America basically needs to get back to doing dirty things, needs to get back to doing things that aren't safe, and that stuff needs to be celebrated, because that's what makes men, right? And I'm all about that. Unfortunately, I'm dumb like that. I don't care about your education. I don't care about how smart you are. I care about what you do. That's all I care about, right? And what you do, the people that you employ, the people that you train, and what those people do with the things that you have taught them. If you teach a bunch of people stuff and they don't do anything useful, or they become pieces of shit, you know, that's a reflection on you, right? And I'm talking to anyone here that's a professor, anyone here that's a teacher. If you're a teacher of people and the people that you teach don't add to society, you're no better than they are, you know, and the product you're putting out there is a pollutant. It's no good for anybody. So we're gonna talk about that kind of stuff today. And yeah, man, I gotta tell you, we're also gonna talk about SawStop, right? When I talk about safety, we're gonna talk about how the company SawStop is a complete piece of shit company, right? I'm gonna tell you why. And it's not that their product's amazing. Their product's great. I really like their product, and but they're a piece of shit company, right? And they're from my old stomping grounds. They're from Tualatin, Oregon, right? I grew up in Corvallis. They're just north of me. All right, so we're going to talk about the company as it pertains to safety and as it pertains to what these companies are trying to do to people today, how they're trying to beat everybody down. Okay, so we got comments coming in. Let's see what everyone's up to today. But yeah, I'm fired up today. Like that article this morning that I was listening to on New York Times talk about rare earths, just it pissed me off to no end. Because again, it's these people that are reporters, and if they're really like, how do they not know this stuff? If you're a reporter for the New York freaking Times, the paper of record, as they say, you should know this stuff. But they don't want to. They don't want to give you any of that information. Oh man, those Monster that iced tea lemonade, man, that stuff's tasty. Okay, Gabriel Garcia's in here. How's it going, man? Gabriel, good to see you. Sun Tzu, nose ring of the worst. It never looked good on a woman. You know, Sun Tzu, good to see you, man. Amit Malik, hey, bald guy, why are you hairless? I'm hairless because I have a wife, because I have a business, because I have kids, because I'm 45 years old. That's why I'm hairless. You know, I started losing my hair when I was, God, I want to say my mid-20s, like pretty young. You know, and the funny thing about it, my dad has a complete full head of hair. My mom, complete full head of hair. But it missed me. I don't have any hair. But my wife likes it. She thinks it's hot. So I married the right woman. She doesn't want me to have a full head of hair anyway. She just wants me to shave more. Apparently I don't shave enough. Drives her crazy, so I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but I try and tell them. See, my wife, the funny thing about my wife, so like I'm a dirty guy who's always full of dust, you know. I've always got dust in my shoes and in my socks, and my clothes are all dust, and I'll come home and sit down in our house, and my wife just loses her shit because I'm always covered in dust. You know, my wife, 180 degrees the other way. Like my wife is clean, well kept, you know, always gets her nails done, gets her hair done, you know, does the Botox thing, has, you know, the Chanel clothes and drives the nice car, just very well kept, very like amazing presentation. Me, I'm a freaking slob, you know, like it's literally Beauty and the Beast. So anyway, so the stuff that I want to talk about today, yeah, we're going to talk about like America's got to get right with working hard. And working hard is a general statement. I get that, and I'm not trying to again, I'm not trying to denigrate anybody. But the truth is that if you got to go out and harvest the corn because there's no slave labor to harvest the corn for you, you need to get out there and do it. That's all there is to it. Otherwise, you don't get any corn. Things like mowing your yard. I've heard people say, "Oh, well, who's going to mow our yards?" It's like, bitch, you're going to mow your own yard. What the fuck is wrong with you? And if you're a man, like, what happened? What, did someone cut your dick off? Like, what? Get out there and mow the yard. What? You're too good for that in your suit and tie? Like, give me a break. These people make me sick. And this is not going to be super popular. I haven't been drinking today, by the way. But like, what are we doing? Like, we gave up on work. There's a bunch of books. I'll reference a couple books for you guys that talk a little bit about this concept. But we've just forgotten what it is to work. We think that all we have to do is go sit in an office and provide some kind of a service to somebody else, on the internet, and somehow we're all going to get rich. And I'm here to tell you, man, that's not how it's going to be. It's messed up. My dad's a lifelong welder. And busted his ass his entire life. And he got to retire finally, and he's just as happy now. He loves being retired, and he's a normal, well-adjusted kind of a person. He's got wealthy friends. He's got poor friends. He's kind of known as the guy that helps everybody. He's the guy you call when you need to get something done. You have questions about how to do something. My dad's that guy. And we need more people like that. We need more people who have done some shit. It's like... how many times have you all got? I need to call my my tech support from Verizon. Like, what? This stuff isn't useful, guys. you know, and I know that, you know, everyone likes their phones and all that kind of stuff, but these jobs that we're doing today that were, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is, but this idea that all we have to do is, you know, do tech support, be a professor, you know, maybe you're like a loan officer or you're working in finance, or another thing I'll talk about is we'll talk about healthcare for a second. If you guys look at the last jobs report, the #1 sector to grow used to be government, believe it or not, for a long time, but it's always been healthcare. Healthcare has always been in like the top 3, and it was #1 last jobs report. And that's another big problem that we got today. People are sicker more than ever, you know, and it's not because we're working harder. We got a lot of hard jobs, you know, people are busting their ass in the coal mines. We've gotten rid of all that shit. It's because everything's too easy. You know, people go to the doctor for anything. They get the sniffles, they get a cough, you know, they get a sore throat. They want to run to the doctor. Everyone's on some kind of antidepressant. Everyone's got something that's fucked up with them. And I don't understand this. This does not make sense to me. And I'm sure that I'm in the minority here. But I've hardly ever been to the doctor. I tore my ACL once when I was 19 years old, got it repaired, I haven't been back since. Just always taking care of myself, always exercised, always worked hard, spent a lot of time outdoors, always built everything in my homes, worked on my own cars. Sickness just was never a thing. Never ate well. Always ate lots of red meat, burgers, bacon, whatever. Oreo, I have an addiction to Oreos. I fucking love Oreos. I love alcohol, love all this stuff. The sickness hasn't kicked in. It's never been a thing. But it seems like everybody is going to the doctor. The freaking medical industry is always hiring people, and it's disgusting. We're supposed to get better, and truth is that our society is getting worse. And until we get away from this easy peasy kind of life that we live, where, you know, someone else is always going to have the answer, and money's always going to be there, mostly from the federal government or the state government, or maybe your parents. Someone's always there to give you something. And man, we got to crack this code, because this is we're going to be in a bad spot if we don't fix this. So I'm going through my notes real quick and kind of back on point a little bit. But I'm frustrated. I'm really frustrated. It's something that has bothered me for a long time. And again, I heard that New York Times talking about that freaking rare earth thing, and it just pissed me off to no end. So we're gonna talk about that. Okay, what's Sun Tzu saying? Can we get Suchet on it? Yeah, no, she needs to be on one of these streams, because truth is that when it comes to business, my wife has the brains. Like, all of my good ideas have come from my wife. I mean, to be completely honest with you, my design and all my fabrication and the way our company is ran is all me, but all the good shit comes from her. And it's always been that way, and it'll always be that way. And I'm keenly aware of it, and I'm more than happy to be in that situation. But yes, I will get her on a stream. And Sun Tzu, tell me what you want her to talk about. You know, do you have questions? Is there a topic you want to discuss? And we'll do it. I've done it on my Instagram subscriber page. If you guys go over to Instagram, I have a subscription site over there. It's like $1 a month. It's not much, but there are some conversations with me and my wife, and we do that kind of stuff. But anyway, Sliding Girl's back here. Sliding Girl, good to see you. Today we're talking about how America needs to get right with what it takes to make things, you know, because as a society, as we've gotten more educated and we've put more people in the offices and we've let more people work from home, we've grown the medical establishment, we've grown the welfare state. Things have gotten worse. They haven't gotten better. This idea that, you know, everyone was going to get educated and everyone was going to work in an office and everything was going to be great, none of that's happened. We've gotten sicker. We've outsourced everything. Like, America doesn't do anything except print money and give people drugs. That's all we do. And it's time to talk about it. It's time to make a change. It's time to get kind of raw about what the problems are. And I'm tired of the virtue. I'm tired of everybody saying, oh, that's unsafe. No, we shouldn't do that. No, we don't need to do that here. I was talking earlier about how, you know, people bitching about, well, if we get rid of illegals or we don't let, you know, immigrants come into the country, who's going to mow our yards and who's going to, you know, maintain our houses? And it's disgusting. It blows my mind, to be quite honest with you. And the virtue that our college institutions have pushed into our culture for the last 20 years has just created a toxic cesspool of whiny bitches. And I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I got a couple sidebars here. I was listening to a few things today. I listened to a couple of, there's a great streamer here on YouTube. His name is The Uneducated Economist. And he's from my neck of the woods in Oregon. He's from Astoria, Oregon. And he works retail in the lumber industry. And he's got a great YouTube page talking about the Fed, and he talks about monetary policy and all these kind of things. And it's very interesting because, again, he's just a normie guy. He never went to college, works a regular job, but has a really good understanding of economics. And it's kind of a cool story. But the thing that bothers me about this particular guy is that he's always pushing, you know, I had to write it down. It's called poverty bros. These are the people that they're always talking about how cheap they are, and they think this is like such a great thing. Like, it's so great, you know, that I don't spend any money on anything. All the cars I drive are pieces of shit, and the home I live in is almost paid for. And like, they just have this mentality that doing less and just saving every dollar that you make and living this really minimalist kind of lifestyle is the way to go. And again, whatever, man, you do your thing. I don't see it that way at all. And I'm just getting sick of this poverty culture. We had this in 2008. All these people just talking about saving money all the time. They don't spend anything, and they're tired of materialism and consumerism. And the reason that I listen to this guy is that he's very good. He's very knowledgeable. He's from my neck of the woods, and he's kind of like me. He's an uneducated guy. And anyway, it's very interesting stuff. But it just gets frustrating to listen to these people, especially myself. I literally sell a luxury good. Like I sell $20,000 desks and $10,000 credenzas, and I sell $5,000 vanities all day long. And truth is that nobody needs my product. Nobody needs a $10,000 credenza or a $20,000 desk, right? Nobody. But they buy them from me. Rich people buy this stuff from me, and that's what makes the world go round. Like, it's not saving money. It's not putting off luxuries, you know, as they call it. It's buying shit, unfortunately. But the truth is that more people need to do what I'm doing, which is make a product that you sell to other people for which they don't actually need it, right? And it's great if you sell a product that people need. I think that's fantastic. If you want to be a farmer, you want to sell, you know, crops and food and things like that, fantastic. That's something that people need. It's very, very admirable job, right? But this idea of living in you know, not living in poverty, but basically proliferating this idea of non-consumerism and not spending any money. Like, it gets old. I'm tired of hearing that shit. There was that one, and then there was one other one that I wrote down. Oh gosh, the responsibility bros. This is the other thing. These fucking people are just out of control. Like, oh, you just need to make sure you save 10% of your income and only live on, you know, 50 cents of every dollar you make. And it's like, who the fuck are these people? Like, where do these people get this idea that people can just live on their meager paychecks? Like, again, I make decent money. I own my own business, and I don't think like this. I don't think people could live this way. I don't think that's realistic. My fortunes, you know, go up and down with the sales of my business. I mean, every month is a different story. There's some months I'm rich. There's some months I'm poor, you know, and this is the reality. And this idea that, oh, just live on less than you make and have an emergency fund and all this. These people are insufferable. And, you know, maybe it's just my feed. I don't know if other people get this stuff, so it could just be in my feed. But I'm just like, oh, I'm so sick of these people. You know, that and the doomers, everyone bitching about everything. Okay. Let's see here. Sun Tzu says, I have a color to show her. I'd like to find it again, but it's a hole in the plate. You should consider filling. Okay, or a hole in palette. You should consider. Okay, so you do use Microbalance or AutoCAD. I don't use either. I use SolidWorks. That's what I use for everything, which is the CAD program that's used mostly in the nautical and aerospace industry. So it's kind of on the high end, to be honest with you, but several woodworkers use it. I'm not the only person that uses it. It's just what I learned on, and I don't know that like we used to use AutoCAD, but I didn't even know AutoCAD is still a company. But yeah, that was the very first program we used, and then we moved up to SolidWorks, honestly because Raytheon, which was a company that we were doing work for at the time, made us. So we switched over to that and learned that program, but that's what I've used forever. So it looks like you probably use all kinds of programs. So yeah, it's CAD's an interesting thing. Right now I'm looking at actually purchasing a CNC, so I'm gonna get ready to learn some more CAD stuff. You know, I got to look at learning, what is it, Vector? Is it Vector, Vectric? Anyway, all the stuff for programming CNCs, and people have told me, you know, there's one called like Mach 3 or Mach 4, something like that. There's several programs we got to learn to use. So I'm going back to school to kind of learn that stuff, or back hanging out with my buddies, basically do this stuff. So anyway, that's what I do. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I talk about the poverty bros and the freaking responsibility bros. Like, I'm so tired of these people. It's nauseating listening to these guys talk about how successful they are. Like, truth is that most people that talk about being successful, they're not that successful. They're really not, you know. And that's, again, another point of this channel is just to show people, you know, you can have a product. Like, I have a very well-known product. I have a very well-known website, very well-known brand. We're huge presence on the internet, and we're moderately successful. Like, this is, like I said, I take a $4,000 a month base salary. If I'm lucky, over the course of the year, I might get to keep $100,000, $200,000. I mean, if I'm lucky. There's years where I've had to pay in $150,000 because I didn't make any. I lost money every month, you know. So business is very tricky. And these people that are always talking about responsibility or just act poor and you'll be able to save money forever. Like, I don't buy it, guys. Again, like, I try to keep it real for everyone. I've got there's no hiding anything in my topic. So anyway, all right, Mike, see what you got. The only reason that crazy extreme minimalism works is because so many other people consume and allows these savers to save because they essentially borrow off those who have spent. Yeah, Mike, you could be right. You know, and funny thing, Mike, you know, I mentioned, I forgot, I was going to say this the other day, is you need to come on here and do one of these streams. So one of these days, we're going to have to get together when you come by the shop. We'll plan on getting together. We'll do one of these 5 o'clock streams. You guys would like Mike. Mike's a cool dude. He's seen some shit in his day and is a painter. Used to work for me, I don't know, during COVID, I think. But yeah, is starting his own business and is going through the same stuff that Sucheta and I've gone through. You know, trying to figure out, you know, the whole customer thing and trying to figure out, you know, finding a facility that doesn't, you know, break the bank and learning about insurance and dealing with asshole customers and figuring out, you know, not every sale is a good idea. You know, sometimes you got to say no. You know, I did a talk on that, which was real popular. Saying no is really important, you know. So Mike can have some good stuff to contribute. So Mike, we'll have to get together sometime. We'll have to do one of these streams together on a Friday. Yeah, Friday would actually be a really good day. So anyway, all right, so I'm gonna get back to my topic here. Okay, so we're gonna talk about, I talked about getting right with making things in America. Okay, so one of the things I wrote down is I wanted to talk about the company SawStop as it pertains to safety. Okay, like I do not like safety culture. You know, and this is people don't take this the wrong way, but here's how we used to look at injuries within the furniture making space. Okay, this is someone who's been in manufacturing for 20 years. This is how we looked at it, okay? And again, don't judge me on this. Every time someone would get injured, right, they'd cut a finger off, they'd get sent to the hospital, they'd wrap their hand around a drill press because they're wearing gloves like fucking idiots. These kind of things would happen. Every time that would happen, we'd be like, my salary just went up. And that's how we thought about it. You know, we didn't think of safety as we wanted people to get injured. We thought of it as a way to secure our wage. You know, that's the reason cabinet makers and furniture makers made good money all the time, was because there weren't many people that could do it. Not only because not many people have the skill or the desire to do that job, but because so many people would get injured. You know, and again, I don't want people to get injured, but at the same time, it protected my wage. You know, and that's one of those things that's just the reality in any industry, right? And so when you're a big corporation and you can basically take somebody's job and you can send it over to China, right? You send that job over to China and then all those poor fuckers over there, they get injured and you don't have to, you just wash your hands. It doesn't fucking matter because those injuries don't show up in your profit and loss statement. Meanwhile, you tell the people in America, oh, hey, look, you're going to get this product much cheaper now. Meanwhile, they took your job or the companies that contributed to your industry and they outsourced all that shit. Now you make half of what you used to make, but you get a cheap product, whatever that product might be, right? That's what's happened. And this is the thing that pisses me off, okay? Now this SawStop company, who again, I said it in the beginning of the stream, I like their tools. I like their AIM technology. And I forget what that acronym even means. You basically just, your hand runs into the blade automatically stops a cartridge that comes up, stops the blade instantaneously. It's a very cool thing. But these motherfuckers want their technology in every saw in America. And what they're trying to do, and what they tried to do, is they tried to pass legislation that mandated through this, what's it called here? It's called the Consumer Product Safety Commission, right? The Consumer Product Safety Commission. They tried to run their product through this commission so that every tool in America had to have it, right? And you're saying, well, God, what's wrong with that? Safety, safety. Safety is amazing, right? We love safety. Everyone should be safe. I want my husband to be safe. I want my wife to be safe. I want my children to be safe. Safe, 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 right? What it was going to do, and the reason that it failed, is because that every fucking tool maker in America said this will put us out of business. That's what they're trying to do, under the guise of safety. And I hate this shit. I'm tired of it. People can't compete on their own. They can't compete on having a good product. It's not enough. They have to go to your government and say, hey, government, you know, here's this great idea, you dumb representative. Like, you're so dumb, representative. Here, I've got the idea for you. And they try and fill these representatives' heads with this shit. And it is a detriment to our industry. It's a detriment to the furniture making industry, the cabinet making industry, right? There's plenty of other companies that have SawStop type technology, right? And the thing about SawStop is they're rabid about their patent. It's called like the 804 patent. Anytime a company tries to make something that's similar, SawStop sues them immediately, right? SawStop said, and it's documented, they said that we will give our patent away. Anybody can use our patent if you make this a law, right? If I keep forgetting what it's called. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says that every tool maker in America has to use some type of AIM technology. They'll give their patent away to everyone, right? And all those companies said, fuck you, you're gonna put us all out of business, right? You can't have that, guys. It's ridiculous. Safety is not up to another company to tell you how to operate your company or tell you how to operate your employees, how to teach your employees. It's not up to any of these people. It's not up to your government. It is up to you. It is up to your parents that taught you how to do something, right? Which we don't do that anymore, right? When you pass trades and you pass knowledge down from one generation to the next, there is no better instructor than the next generation, the previous generation. There's no better instructor. There's no one that's going to take more time or get more respect from the next generation than the previous generation. But when a company comes in, like, no one's going to buy SawStop saw. I'm sorry. It's a great saw, but I'm not going to buy it. I can buy any fucking saw I want. I'm not buying their stuff because it's too expensive. Why would I pay $4,000 for a SawStop saw when I can go buy a used Grizzly saw for $1,200? It doesn't make any sense. I can go buy a Powermatic saw made in Tennessee. You know, these saws last forever. There's no need to spend this kind of money on these tools, right? And then who do you think pays to grease the palms of politicians, right? You pay for it. When you pay for their $4,000 or $5,000 saw, it's so they can give some kind of a kickback to some politician to basically tell you that you're not safe. Oh, don't you want your kids to be safe? Don't you want the next generation to be safe? Got to teach people to be safe. It's disgusting, guys. It's disgusting. I detest this company, and I detest any company that does this, okay? Now, I was talking earlier about rare earths, right? So we're going to go from tools to minerals. So we'll talk about, okay, rare earths. So I'm going to look for a few more comments. Okay, so, all right, so let's see here. SawStop should give their tech. No, they will. That's what's so disgusting about what these guys are saying. They said that they will let anybody in America have their patent, not use it, have it. But the first thing that has to happen is this Consumer Protection Agency has to make every tool in America require the technology, okay? That's what has to happen, right? Which is basically, it means that the minute that happens, that any saw manufacturer is on the clock. They have to produce this technology. They have to, buy it, because odds are SawStop is not going to sell the technology, right? They're not going to retrofit their cartridge systems for a Grizzly saw, right? What they're going to do is they're basically going to license it. So they get paid every 3 to 5 years whenever that license is up for renewal. And that's what these guys want to do. They don't want to fucking make a saw all the time. Everybody wants to license. They want a license. They want a subscription. You know, they want you to pay every month continuously or every year when your contract re-ups. This is how it works, guys. People do not want to make things, which is the heart of what I'm talking about today, okay? The reason we can't make anything in America today is because nobody wants to make anything in America today, okay? Nobody wants to. And especially the people that are high up. Those people, they don't want to make shit. All they want to do is make policy and get kickbacks from companies like SawStop, okay? And companies like the people that are in the rare earth industry, we're going to talk about them next. I hope this is good for everyone. This is a fiery discussion. I do not like safety culture. I do not like this idea that Americans can't do things like makes shoes. That pisses me off more than anything, right? When you see a company like Restoration Hardware, when Trump announced a 46% tariff on the country of Vietnam, their stock dropped 50%. It went from something like $270 down to like $148 in, it was I think it was 2 days. I think it was 2 days, right? So what does that tell you guys? That tells you that the value in that company is solely in its ability to produce a product in another country. That's what it means. That's all it means. That is the value that that company has. It's not their amazing designs, their $50 million showrooms. It's their ability to have slave labor in another country. Plain and simple. That's what it is. It's disgusting, and it just pisses me off to no end, guys. Okay, read through my comments. I'm going to get on to rare. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Who we got here? We got NPayer 2. Okay, if safety was the main issue, it would be free all around. No, 100%. And SawStop is under no obligation to give their product away, and they shouldn't. The issue isn't the technology or things being safe. The issue is that a company's job is to make a profit. Plain and simple. That's what it is. And people can bitch about capitalism. They can bitch about what it is to make money and who should be making money, who makes the money, all these kind of things. But that's a business's only obligation, is to make a profit to keep the business going, because the truth is that most people don't have the impulse control to own a company. They don't have the impulse control to run a company. A lot of people just don't want to do it, and that's fine. It takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. But it's a very select group of people that can make a company work, right? And unfortunately, that's just how it is, but somebody has to do that job so that everybody else has work. Everybody needs each other. I mean, no one is better than anybody else. But the truth is that, and this is terrible. Again, I know I've said some horrible things in this cast, but I got one more for you guys, okay? I've said it a million times, right? If you put 100 people on the line and you take, first thing you gotta do is you gotta give people a drug test, right? You're gonna lose half of them right away, gone. So you're left with 50% of those people. You got 50 of them left, right? 50 of those people. How many of those people do you think can run a company, right? How many of those people can do what it takes to run a company? And the truth is, you guys, it's about 3 of them. And that's just the honest to God truth, right? Most people can't even qualify for a job because they can't get off the fucking drugs. Plain and simple, right? But the amount of people that can actually run a company, maybe I'm a little inaccurate there. It's more like start and run a company. It's very few people, guys, and that's just how it is, and that's why most businesses fail. It's the hardest thing to do, right? But we all need business. Okay, so okay, next topic here. Who we got? Sliding Girl coming in. Okay, Alice. All I'll say is be going after white collar jobs. How about cabinetry or? All is about going after white collar jobs. My uncle Ray invented safety engineer back in the first registered safety engineer. Oh boy. Okay, Solana Girl. Oh boy, you're really putting me on the spot here. Okay, so there's yeah, why not? We're in this far, right? Let's just go for it. Okay, here we go. Okay, the problem with the word engineer is the same problem with the word scientist. Okay, it used to be you were just a scientist, right? And it used to be you were an engineer. These jobs were very respected, and they served purposes, and they were very important. Now, everyone's a fucking scientist, and everyone's a fucking engineer, okay? And you know that because whatever word comes before that job title, it's BS. It's complete BS, right? There's mechanical engineer, industrial engineer, safety engineer. I mean, we even have like political engineers. Like everybody is an engineer, medical engineer, materials engineer, and now you got safety engineer. It's like, what's next? What we got? We got a soda can engineer, or maybe we got t-shirt engineer. And again, it's don't take this wrong. I'm not trying to shit on anybody. And again, I think safety is very important. The problem is that safety has been commoditized, and I don't like that. It's not good for my industry, and it's not the kind of stuff that I want to teach the people around me, okay? And I'll talk there's a book, I'm gonna think about it while I'm talking. There's a book that talks about this specifically with automation and safety. It's very pertinent now. I'll do anything about it. But safety engineer is good, and being safe it's very important to identify pinch points. It's very important to identify danger zones, where things can fall. To have your safety girders and your safety railings and making sure things are color coded. But the problem is when you have all that stuff in place, it takes away from what it means to do that job, right? Remember when I said that I used to love it when people got injured, right? Because it meant that that just basically kept my salary going up, right? And the truth is that the reason those people get injured is they're not taught very well. Because odds are the people that they're taught from don't really know what they're doing either, right? They weren't taught from their dad. They weren't taught from someone who had 20 or 30 years of experience. They were taught by a person who got in for the lowest wage possible with the minimal amount of experience possible. And this is what happens, And again, when every tool has 1,000 stickers on it, guess what? You don't see any of them. You see none of them. But it insulates the company from being sued, right? It insulates a lot of people from tort, right? Which is the law. That's all they're there for. They're not there to keep anybody safe. The only people that are actually in any industry to keep people safe are the people that are doing the work. And that's it. You can argue with me till we're blue in the face. You can tell me how educated people are, how many degrees, PhDs, whatever. You can tell me they're Jesus. I don't care. The only people that really know about safety are the people that have been doing the work for a long time. They know what to look for. Plain and simple. And that's just how it is. And truth is that the workers, the only people that workers respect are the people that they're working with. Anytime we get an industrial engineer coming in, we used to have a process engineer. There's another one, process engineer. We used to have these process engineers come through, and we just used to make fun of them constantly. We just laughed at them all the time because they'd want to know how many times we went and got tape, and they'd measure how many times we would go to a table saw and how many feet there were in between the saw because they were trying to create work cells, right? We learned this all in Six Sigma and lean manufacturing, which is a good thing. But the dorks that are doing this stuff, they have no fucking idea what they're talking about. They put all their analysis into Excel and they get a nice P rating, right? You remember P ratings? That was like a big thing. Guys, it's gotten too far, okay? And it's led to what I'm trying to talk about, which is rare earths, I love the comments, guys, by the way. I really appreciate you guys giving your opinions and adding to the discussion. And I'm very committed to my opinion because I've done this forever. But I'm not beyond being educated and learning new things. But I think that it's good when people have strong opinions and they're able to go back and forth with people. And like I said, nothing but respect, So okay, keep going in some more. All right, I'm gonna go back to we'll go back to Sliding Gal's comment. Okay, saw that. Safety engineer, yeah. Okay, so bribery being legal under the guise of money for speech is pretty strict. Yeah, and so you're 100% right. And that's again, I've talked about this many times. One of the biggest problems we have with small business is big business, and big business is literally they are lining the pockets of politicians, or at the minimum, they're filling politicians' heads with garbage because it helps their company. And every time a large business is able to convince somebody in government to add something to the EPA, add something to OSHA, add something to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, it makes it harder for you and me to start a business and to compete with that bigger company. And that's what they're trying to do. That's the main thing they're trying to do. And when people, this is another thing, like when people cry about the minimum wage, every time the minimum wage goes up, it only hurts people like you and me. Those are the only people that it hurts. Like, you think Walmart gives a fuck about the minimum wage? They don't. They can hire anybody that they want, right? But it does hurt the mom and pop grocery shop that was paying somebody, $10 an hour working after high school. Now they got to pay someone $15, $20 an hour. Like, that's a big deal. It's a big problem. So these companies, they are filling politicians' heads with garbage and giving them kickbacks in many different kinds of ways. And it makes it harder for all of us, So, yeah, it's the money's a big problem, guys. And this SawStop company, like, this is another one. Like I said, these companies are trouble. They're absolutely, because they don't want to compete. They don't want to compete with their product. They want to compete by making it harder for you and I and other people to produce and sell our products by using the law to make it harder for us to do our work. And it's a real problem. So anyway, yeah, Sun Tzu, I agree, dude. You're 100% right. Okay, test user. I don't know about you, test user. Hello, glad to see you. Glad to see you again. Hope all's well. Yeah, likewise. All is well. We're doing good here. Very busy. A lot of projects going on. I got all kinds of stuff to show people. So tune in on what's on the shop Fridays or Saturday if I am too busy on Friday, and I'll show you guys what I got going on. I got crotch mahogany coming in. It'll probably be a Thursday or Friday. I've got 5 sheets of crotch mahogany coming in. I'm gonna spend probably about $20,000 on veneer. So I should have some really pretty stuff to show y'all. I've got a little bit of walnut veneer coming in. I'm trying to build a crotch mahogany sheet of veneer that is 15 feet long and 4 feet wide. And I found somebody who has 24 pieces of crotch mahogany cut from the same log that are 61 long and 21 wide. And so I'm working with a company called Oak Veneer, and we're figuring out how we can build a pattern out of all these sheets of veneer for this big massive table that I have to build, which is gonna have like tons of browse. It's gonna be sick, guys. Holy shit. It's gonna be the nicest table you guys have ever seen. Like I'll go out on a limb there. It's like, I'm making it. These people are paying me a shit ton of money. They're paying me a year's salary to make this thing, and it's gonna be badass. You guys wait. Okay, end player 2. Underwater ceramics engineer, aka dishwasher. Yeah, you know, we've all heard this stuff. You know, it's like yeah. I mean, businesses have tried everything they can to pretty up the title of a job, to try and make it sound like more than it is, and it's disgusting. It's so disgusting, guys. And colleges, I blame colleges. I'm sorry. I put my biases out there. I'm 100% against the college system right now. I think the only people that should go to college are smart people, and you have to be going for a STEM field. That's it. Everything else, you're just a normie like me. College does not make people smarter. I wholeheartedly believe it. It does not make people smarter, but it makes smart people smarter. And we sort all of us dummies out in high school. Plain and simple. Most of us don't even want to go to high school, in which case we just need to go to work, and I don't see anything wrong with that. But yeah, playa, I completely agree with you. Okay, test user. Boy, we got lots of comments today, guys. Hit the like button, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully kick this thing around to more people. You can see we get more people in here. I've told you guys I'm trying to grow this thing. I'm halfway there. I got about 1,500 hours of watch time. So maybe in the next 3 or 4 months, I can get my my 3,000 hours. So okay, I'd say safety engineer is basically risk assessment and red tape. Yeah, you're 100% right. And again, I don't even think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I really don't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to identify ways to make a job safer, but in my case, like I'm a furniture maker, right? And we even talked about the dishwasher. Ask the dishwasher. And people say, oh, dishwasher's dumb. He's fucking retarded. Why would he know anything about safety? Like, no. If the dishwasher cares about his job, odds are the dishwasher has been injured. The dishwasher has seen somebody else get injured. The dishwasher's seen something that's unsafe. You can ask him or her, and they'll tell you. In my space, cabinet making, like, ask me about a table saw. I'll tell you what's dangerous about a table saw, right? And it's not the saw. The saw is not what's unsafe about a table saw. It's everything else. Talk to me about painting. You want to know what's unsafe about painting? I'll tell you. You don't need some engineer who's never painted anything in his life, who has, 8 years of college and no fucking years of painting to tell you how to be safe. Like, I just disagree, guys. And like I said, you can never convince me that these people are worth what they're being paid. And the only people that employ these are big companies that hire other college people with degrees. Like, why do you think all the people that come through HR have degrees? Because we send everyone to college to go get an HR degree. Like, if you want to be in HR, you have to have a degree. Like, I was literally an aerospace interior engineer. I never graduated high school. I'm the guy in there, drawing fucking wiring diagrams and making pin locations and 3D modeling little pin holders and interior cabinets for jets. Like, it's wild, guys. It's everything that has this title. The word before whether you're a scientist, the word before whether you're an engineer, it's at this point it's all garbage, guys. It used to mean something, it means nothing anymore. All right, let's see, surprise visits from Santa Osha. Yeah, so funny story. Okay, so I'll tell you guys a good story. my business has been shut down before. Oh, whoa, we're getting kind of real now. Oh my God. A company that's been shut down, a business owner who isn't perfect? What? Business owner's not bald. You guys didn't see my Lambo back there? You know, all the millions of dollars I make every year making furniture. Oh yeah, okay. All right, so when my wife met me, she had just moved into this building, and this building was full of rat shit and, you know, whatever bird crap, and it just been neglected for a long time. The building's 15,000 square feet. She wanted 2,000 of it. Maybe even less than. I think it was like 2,000 square feet. And anyway, when she came in here, she literally was painting in her house. The whole house was full of painted stuff, painted furniture, you know, prime parts of the whole house was covered in paint, inside and out. It was really, the driveway's covered. It was bad, guys. So she got out of there and finally got in this place. And she had a makeshift booth, you know. I mean, everyone's had, you know, a couple box fans and some visqueen, right, and some cardboard. Very basic, rudimentary setup. Well, one of the local inspectors here in University City, which is a part of St. Louis, was a fan of hers and followed her on Instagram at the time. And she came in, and she just happened to be a city inspector, and came in and red tagged the building, shut it down because we didn't have a spray booth. I mean, that was it. And my wife was done. And truth is that when that happened, like the next day, me and her went on our first date, which is, this story is crazy, right? We went on our first date. And so my wife could only do shit during the day because at night she was sneaking back into the building because the city's not around. I mean, everyone knows that any government worker goes home at 5 a.m. They don't take their work home with them. But anyway, she was doing her work after, it was something like 6 or 7 o'clock. She'd come in and work till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning painting furniture because that's the only thing she could do, right? And then when this inspector came in and shut us down, Suchetta's, you know, obvious question was, well, how do I get the spray booth? What do I do? She had no idea. And you know what the inspector told her? She's like, that's not my job. You know, it's like, that is fucked up, guys. Like, you cannot shut a business down and not have any idea of how that business is supposed to be back in business, right? Because truth is that woman's salary is paid by me and my wife. At the time, I wasn't involved in it, but it was paid by my wife at that point. And I'm not saying that you have to let people operate unsafely, but it's in your interest to make sure that they can operate. Your job isn't to just be some bitch and shut somebody down. That does nobody any good. It makes you look good. Maybe you get to go home at night, feel good about yourself. But the truth is, you're a piece of shit, right? You justify your job by shutting somebody down and then not telling them what they got to do to fix the situation. Pretty messed up, you know? So anyway, that's, let's see here. So that's the story about the business actually being shut down. So what we had to do is, thank God she met me. I just love trouble. I love fires. I would love nothing more than if I came in every day and my building was on fire. I'd be the first guy going to get the fire extinguisher and rallying the troops and figuring out how to put the fire. That's literally what I like to do. But anyway, point is, we got that all taken care of. And the truth is that OSHA has never been in my building to my knowledge, okay? Now, when I worked for Global Engineering and Technology in Wichita, Kansas, I dealt with OSHA exclusively. I know everything those people want to see because my company got fined twice for literally taking a backhoe, digging a hole behind their building and dumping hazardous waste in the hole and covering it up, okay? Not, you know, oh, it just happened by accident. I mean, we're talking complete illegal. Like there's no coming back from that, right? So that company didn't get shut down, right? Which I find hilarious. What happened with them is they basically came through and they went through the entire building, and we were able to go with them, right? So you get to follow these people around, and what they're doing for is they're looking for non-compliance, right? And there's stages to non-compliance. The worst one is willful, right? Which is what we did with the hazardous waste that was outside the building. I forget all the, this is like 15 years ago at this point, but I remember willful was the worst one. But anyway, so they wrote all this stuff out, and the fines ended up being something like 30 grand. It's a big fine. I want to say there was like 30 to 50 citations. It was a lot of citations. And anyway, the truth is that the way you when OSHA comes through, the way that you work through OSHA situations is OSHA's not there to shut you down. OSHA is there to point out all your violations, and what they want you to do is they want you to put in processes. They want you to hire a safety engineer, a manufacturing engineer, a process engineer, all of these kind of people to put processes in place, to put paperwork in place, like weekly checks, monthly checks, checklists. They fucking love checklists. They want to put all this stuff in place. You have to document everything. They love documentation. They don't like work, right? They don't like you to produce a lot of stuff, but they do like you to produce a lot of checklists. They love checklists. They love to be able to go look at your records like, oh, look, Bobby signed this every week for 2 years. Oh, gold star. You know, gold, they just love that stuff. It's their favorite thing in the world. And this is what education does to people. It's what it does. Like, that's all they want to do is check boxes. Check, 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 check. Meanwhile, nothing's getting done, right? It takes away from the production of a good. And some people say, well, yeah, but you're safer. You're a better company. Like, says who? Says who? You know, it's but OSHA? So anyway, to answer your question in short, no. OSHA's never come through this building. And I'm sure at some point OSHA will, and OSHA can come through here. I've got no problems with that. You know, we have our MSD books. We do the basic stuff. You know, I don't have a lot of electrical issues because we got cited for all the stuff at that old company I was just telling you about. You know, so I know about a lot of things. All of our electrics up to code. Our boosts are up to code. Our respirators are all kept in bags. We do most of what we're supposed to do. And the truth is that if OSHA ever comes through your facility, they're going to find stuff. It's literally their job, you know. But they're not going to shut you down like that bitch ass inspector did. That took a woman who quit her job, found a way to get enough money together to rent a building, and it was like the first month she was in here, some city inspector comes and shuts her down. It's like we need to write a memoir about this story because it's so fucked up, guys. Like, you know how hard it is to quit your job, to get away from that sweet, sweet W-2 paycheck? Like, knowing that money is deposited every 2 weeks in your bank account, your health care is taken care of, you put a little money in your 401k. Like, you know how nice that is? To give that up, to have some fucking nameless, faceless woman come in and just shut you down. Like, cold, man, cold. So, anyway, that's, sorry, I know it's a long answer. This is going to be like the emotional talk. And I'm going to get to rare earths, okay? Because that's really what I want to talk about next. Okay, so let's do process engineer sounds like. No, process engineer was cool, man. And the funny thing about it is, like, I'm a guy, I can say this. My process engineer, she was so hot. We all were trying to date this chick. Like, we were trying so hard to take this chick out for drinks. And man, I remember her. And she was kind of flirty and fun, but she wasn't having it. I think she'd seen how the stuff works, you know, enough times to know that every guy, you know, especially like you're in your 20s, of course these guys are going to come in and try and hit on some chick who's a process engineer. Like, what are the odds, right? You're coming into a manufacturing facility with a bunch of guys, you know, and you know, it's just like, what a horrible situation to be in, you know. And I've done talks about putting women in male environments, and it's always the men that are supposed to be the ones that are supposed to act a certain way and respect all women and sign all these. And again, that's 100% true, but it's cruel and unusual punishment to put a very attractive mid-20s woman around a bunch of mid-20s guys. I'm sorry. It's cruel and unusual punishment. It's just how I see it. So anyway, okay, Sliding Girl says hi. Yes, Sliding Girl, good. I appreciate all you guys' feedback. Okay, we've got test user. Quick question, do you use any 3D printing within your production? No. I would like to. The problem with 3D printing for me is it's another technology that I have to learn, and I love the idea of it. One of my old girlfriend's dad was a big-time 3D printer, and so I learned about the different kinds of 3D printing is plastic. You know, it comes in spools of I forget what they call that stuff, but I've seen it. I know that it's used heavily in the automotive industry, especially like the antique restoration industry. A lot of 3D printed parts. And what I do, which I could 3D print, is I make molds of everything. So I use a lot of silicone molds for, like, I used to do a lot of vintage furniture. Whenever I had to remake a vintage finial, I wouldn't go to my lathe and turn it. Like, no. I'd make a mold of it, and then I would cast it out of composite because I paint furniture. right? So that composite's super hard. That composite will hold 500 pounds. It's very strong. We'd cast it, sand it, stick it on the cabinet, prime it, paint it, just like the rest of the cabinet. Worked out perfectly every time. So I probably got 50 molds over there that I've used for all kinds of stuff. I could 3D print it, but in aviation, we 3D printed so much stuff. One of the things that we 3D printed a lot of was ducking. Believe it or not, a lot of the ducking in private jets, it's all 3D printed. You know, pretty cool stuff. So anyway, that's kind of my thing on that. Tess, do you 3D print? And if you do, what do you 3D print? Is it like a hobby thing? Do you do it professionally? I'm kind of curious. It's a neat technology. Okay, let's see, NPlayer 2, I do insurance. Let's see, I do insurance, build back the adjusters, love telling us how things are supposed to work. Oh boy, insurance, oh God, insurance. Yeah, insurance has gone up a lot. And I know it's because it's not because the insurance is greedy. That's another thing, like if we've gotten everybody out of making things and we've, you know, gave everyone a degree and they're all doing these sissy jobs in offices, and no offense, I'm not saying it like that. Should that make things better? Should it make people healthier that they don't have to go breathe coal mining dust? Should it make things better that you don't have people, you know, especially with all, you know, all the people working from home now, like people aren't driving as much, we're not using as much gas. Like everything was supposed to be better when we got educated, and it's only gotten worse. You know, and people say, oh, it's climate change, you know, blah, blah, like, what? I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second. You know, we have the most amazing weather here in the Midwest. You know, like we had like California weather this year. Like it's been freaking awesome. You know, I don't know. My uncle was in insurance. You know, I've heard some stories. I got a very elementary understanding of insurance. that's what I'm gonna say. I don't understand much about industry. But yeah, adjusters, I'm sure they've got it all figured out. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that. Okay. All right, Sun Tzu, what's the worst injury your shop has seen? The worst injury. Okay. I'll tell you two stories. So the worst injury I've seen in my shop. Oh God. I had a guy, a seasoned furniture maker, and this blew my mind. He was trying to cut little tiny strips of wood. We'll say 36 inches, maybe 36-inch long piece of material. I say the material is, I don't know, 10 inches wide. You know, we'll say it's 1/4 of an inch thick. He's trying to cut little tiny 1/4 inch strips on the inside of the blade, the fence side of the blade, pushing them through with a stick, which is retarded. You should never do that. And again, that's one of those deals where had I seen that, if I would have been in the wood shop at the time, I'd have been like, what the fuck are you doing? It makes no sense. Because we have a tool, it's basically a gauge. You put that gauge on the right side of the fence, and it basically will allow you to measure over 1/4 of an inch, and it sets right in front of the saw. So you just move your fence over the material, touch that gauge, and then you run your part through. Done. And you just step it over and run it, step it over, run it. It's amazing. It's a great tool. And I forget the name of it. It's just some kind of a stop. But the truth is that particular guy, he was a furniture maker in another country for a long time. And I spent a bunch of time in New Zealand. And I'll tell you what, that people that do jobs in other countries, they're very different. The practices are very different. The way that they do things are very different because the tools are so different. One of the things we miss about living in America is America's the richest country that has ever existed. It is insanely wealthy, and we have access to the best of everything. But we also have the access to the shittiest of everything, and sometimes people don't know the difference. But the truth is that when you're in one of these countries where it's just you have what you have, you either make it work or you go hungry. Here in America, we can say, oh, hey, there's a better way. Here, let me show you how. You know, in other countries, they don't have that, you know, so that's a real problem. But anyway, point is that piece of material kicked back, and it actually went into his leg. And that was a bad deal. You know, and he's fine. He's completely recovered, and everything's good, and he still works for me. Good dude, and I like that guy. But point is that that's part of what I'm talking about. Like, there's no piece of safety equipment that was going to save that guy. for what happened to him. And the other thing is that's where, again, you have to have the people around you showing you how to do things. And the truth is that we can't all watch each other all the time, and the educated person's mindset is, well, you should have had a process in place. They think that a process exists for everything. And I'm here to tell you that processes are like safety stickers. After you get them, like I go look at my table saw right now, there's probably fucking 8 stickers on that thing, okay? No one looks at any of them because they're everywhere. We just like, oh God, more stickers. It's the same thing with processes. Same thing, so process engineers, safety engineers, like no one cares what you have to say. No one remembers anything you have to say because you don't believe it yourself. And I remember I was a safety coordinator at Global Engineering and Technology, and I literally had an OSHA software, a kit that told me everything that I needed to do. I guess, what? So anyway, point is that a lot of these people, they don't really know much about what they're doing. It's just a profession to them, and most of the time they have software and tools that make their job easier because they really don't know what their job is anyway, which is not a nice thing to say, but that's how I feel about it. Okay, so keep both his comments here. Let's see here. Let's see, that's not my job. Wow. I'm in Kansas City. Beware, riots coming. Oh shit. Is it that stuff from California? All that ice raids or something like that? Is that what you're talking about, Salina girl? I need to go to Kansas City. I'm ready to. So I told you guys about my last streams, and now I promise guys, I'm gonna get to my freaking rare earths real quick. I love to gamble. God, you guys have some great casinos there. I need to go to, I think I have an Ameristar there. It's pretty dope. I need to go there and literally just go gambling for a weekend. It's on my to-do list. I'm going to do it. Okay, I love Kansas City. Great place. Our daughter actually goes to school there. Okay, loud. Yeah, right? Yeah, Sun Tzu. Yeah, anyone with common sense knows that hazardous waste cannot be put in the ground. Like the people that did that, those are the people. You don't need a government official to tell you, no, those people belong in jail, right? You put those people in jail. You charge them with crimes, and you process them, and you put them in jail. Plain and simple, because everyone knows what right and wrong is, and there's no way those people thought for a second that was safe. I guarantee you. Truth is, they just didn't want to pay to have it disposed of properly, which is horseshit, right? People that run businesses like that give other business owners a bad name. And truth is that's why I'm on this stream. I'll call those people out all day long. I've told you the companies I work for. I've told you the dumb shit that I've seen, that I've done, that other people have done. Because the truth is that all those experiences have made me a better business owner. They've made the people around me have a better work environment. And is it the environment that a college person would want to work in? Nope. But you know what? The people that work here love it. We all love this work environment. We don't have a polished work facility, and that's fine. Everybody's okay. Not every place has to be the same, which is what all these people want. They want everything to be the same everywhere, and it's disgusting. Okay, so test user. Okay, I just started as a hobby. I use a PLA spool, print all kinds of cool storage boxes and hooks for the house. No, that's dope, man. That's really cool. Again, I don't know a ton about 3D printing, but I think it's something that is going to be bigger and bigger. I've seen massive 3D prints. I mean, they print out all kinds of crazy. I mean, how long till? I'm curious. How long? We always kind of theorized that eventually they would be able to print cabinets. How long till you think you can CNC print a kitchen cabinet or like a bathroom vanity? Because those are the most usable things. But truth is that we would 3D print stones. That would go on our hardware. That's something we might consider doing. That's a lot of times now they're poured. It's like a poured epoxy type situation. But I can see those things just being printed mass quantities, and then put into our hardware, which would be kind of cool. So yeah, it's I don't understand a ton about 3D printing, but the technology's come a long way. I mean, that much I know for sure. But yeah, you have to do something with it. It's I'm always telling people, get a website and show your work. Don't be afraid to put your stuff on Instagram and Facebook and let people criticize you. Like who gives a shit? Like whatever. Like no one really gives a shit other than the people criticizing. No one really cares. But maybe you got something that's really cool. Other people will like what you do. You can kind of start a community that talks about it. Or if you make something really cool, sell it. Service an industry. Like my industry. If I was making little stones out of 3D printed stuff, what would that cost? Is that a 50 cents per stone? A stone might be I don't know, let's say 3/4 of an inch in diameter, maybe 1/8 of an inch thick, 0.25, or excuse me, 0.125, something like that. I'd be curious what would that kind of stuff cost to print out like, 200 of those things. Okay, whoops, sorry guys. See, I know Creality do some good 3D printing, good quality starter printer. Okay, no, that's good. No, I said I don't have time to dabble in it. I wish I did. I'm getting ready to go hard into CNC cutting and learning G-code and all these different programs you're supposed to use for cutting out parts, because the back and forth between the guy that runs the CNCs now and me, the person that makes all the models and all the engineering, it's just not working for me. I don't have the time to go back and forth. And the thing is, like, my CNC, the guy that makes all my CNC parts, when something gets messed up, I literally have to tell him every single thing that's wrong. And it's then his job to go through and remember every program that he put that particular, like say it's like hinges, right? Hinge locations. You have 2 pilot holes for putting in screws. If you got two hole locations, like how many panels had that same hole location? And he's got to go back and check all stuff. And he's not very good at keeping records on all the parts that had that particular hole locations in their programming. Anyway, it'd be so much easier if I could do it. So I just need to learn. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's just one more thing. Okay, Sun Tzu table saw as well. Most woodworking tools are no jokes. Tools scare me the most. Yeah. No, and Sun Tzu. That's the thing. And then I'll tell you guys the worst injury I've seen. Okay. But no, Sun Tzu, what you're saying is people that are afraid of those tools, like there's lots of people that are, and that's a good thing. You should be afraid of a table saw, and you should be afraid of a joiner and a planer, and you should be afraid of all these tools, unless you're committed to using them, right? And then you should have somebody show you how. Someone that's fairly competent, someone that and everybody knows someone they're the person that makes shit, or they're the person that you call when you need to have something, fixed or whatever it might be. Like, we all know these kind of people, and these are the people that you go talk to. You don't go watch a YouTube video when it comes to working with something that could cut your hand off, right? And I've seen it. You don't go to YouTube when you're learning how to work on something that could crush you, right? You just don't do that. Point is, you need a teacher, someone that can physically show you how to do something. Some process engineer, pointing out all the danger zones on a table saw isn't going to make you feel better about using a table saw. In fact, it gives you a false sense of security. And this book that I'm trying to remember, it's like the glass jar, the glass ceiling, or the glass something. This is the thing that when people think that everything is so safe, it makes them complacent, right? They stop thinking about what it is they're doing, because someone has thought about all the safety issues, has thought about all the dangers, and has made it so safe for you that when something bad happens, you have no idea what to look for. And you're not even looking for it because somebody else has engineered it out of the equation, right? And this is one of the big problems that we have today, is there are so many people out there trying to make everything safe, but the people that are trying to make things safe don't actually know how to do the work. They don't do the work. Like, I don't need the engineer at SawStop trying to tell me how to use a table saw. I just don't. I'll work that guy, out of a job in a heartbeat. He's not going to tell me anything I need to know about table saws. Does he make a great tool that is safer than my $1,000 Grizzly saw over there? 100%. But he's never going to get my business. And the safety people and the bitches will always say, "Oh, it only takes once. It only takes once." Like, you fucking people will go through your lives saying that until the day you die. And I feel sorry for you. It only takes once. It only takes once. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. I'm tired of you people. I'm tired of the safety culture. I'm tired of these people in schools teaching people to actually do the work how to do the work. And maybe they'll teach you remotely because they're too fucking lazy to actually go do the work. Okay, so I want to go to the rant, guys. Okay, so we're talking about minerals real quick because my phone is down to oh god, I'm probably down to 10%. All right, so I'm gonna make 7. Okay, I got 17%. Okay, I probably got another 10 minutes in me. Okay, so we're talking about rare earths. Okay, so rare earths are microcosm for everything that's going on in our country today, and it's a microcosm for why we can't do anything today. Okay, and it all started from listening to this. You guys have probably heard of this podcast called The Daily. You should go listen to it today. It's infuriating. Because basically what they say is They talk about how America used to make rare earths, and they tell you the process. And they're really good about telling you how rare earths are made and all these kind of things. And I thought they did a great job there. But when it came time to talk about why we don't do that anymore, all they told you is that it's too expensive. And they talked about the company that was making the rare earths in America out in California could no longer produce them because they went bankrupt due to all of the environmental regulation. And environmental regulation is nothing new. Like, we all know about environmental regulation, and it has its place. There's nothing wrong with environmental regulation. The problem is that when environmental regulation supersedes the product that is being made, right? Like, you can talk all day long about environment and OSHA and safety and all kinds of stuff, but if there's no more fucking coal coming out of the ground, guess what happens to your electricity rates? You know, because the people that are telling you can't use coal aren't making more energy sources. They're not coming up with new technologies. And if they are, they're doing it at a snail's pace, right? Because trust me, coal industry doesn't want you coming up with new power. The natural gas industry doesn't want you coming up with new power source. Oil sure as shit doesn't want you coming up with a new power source, right? And if anyone's going to come up with it, it's going to be one of those three industries. It's not going to be your colleges. It's not going to be these institutions of higher learning, okay? It's just not, right? It's not going to happen, okay? The environmental regulations have crippled so many industries in America that require manual labor, require what makes men feel good about their work, what gives people pride and dignity. They basically engineered it out of our society, okay? So the other things that they were saying about this industry is that they were saying that the costs are too high, right? Labor's too high, which we all know there's a labor problem, you know, which is again why a lot of these companies were like, fuck it, just let China do it, you know, great for us. They outsource the work to another country, right? Which they've done with a lot of things. This is nothing new. We all know this kind of stuff. But the insidious part of it is when they tell you that the costs are too high, the reason they're too high is because we gave up on doing this stuff 20 years ago. And they never factor that part into the equation. They just say, well, we can't do that anymore. Or they'll say, Americans don't want to do that, right? You ever heard that one? Americans won't do these jobs. No one will do these jobs. You know, who's going to pick our fields? You heard that one, right? Remember, it used to be, who's going to pick the cotton? You guys remember those days? You know, we fought a war over that one. Think about what's getting ready to come down the pipeline and keep this shit up, right? So lack of infrastructure was another thing they talked about, right? The reason there's a lack of infrastructure is because we gave up on it 20 years ago. We gave up on the idea of making these rare earths, you know, so of course there's no infrastructure for it. You decided not to do it. You farmed it out to another country. And then when it comes time to bring that back to America, because you no longer get along with the country that you outsource the work to, then suddenly it's, well, we can't afford to do that. It's too expensive. We don't have the labor. We don't have the workforce. We don't have the infrastructure. You know, we could spend billions, hundreds of billions of dollars paying fucking interest on our debt, but we can't spend any money on the infrastructure to bring this rare earth situation back to America. And what would it cost? $10 billion? $20 billion? Can't do it. We could build a golden dome, you know, like Israel has over America. We got plenty of money for that, but we can't fix this stupid rare earth situation, right? We don't have it in us to do that. Wild, right? It's absolutely wild. And the truth is like I said, America doesn't want to do it, you know. And how many times have you heard this one? This is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll get back to, you know, why this is a problem. The technical skills gap, right? How many times have we heard this? Oh, we don't do that here anymore. We don't know how to do that. Other countries do that, right? Those retards in China do it. You know, the poor do that. The foreigners do that. How many times have you heard that? Like as an American, as a small business owner with no education, who moved all over America to figure this shit out, worked his ass off all day long, never took nothing from nobody. I've never been on welfare, never taken nothing. This pisses me off to no end when these people say that we can't do stuff here. When they say that we're above that. Like, how many times have you heard that? Who's gonna pick the fruit? What do you mean, who's gonna pick the fruit? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know, what is wrong with our country? Who's gonna pick the fruit? I'll pick the fruit. I'm not above picking fruit. Like, I wash the fucking toilets at my business. And I wash them with pride because it feels good because I own a company. I get to write paychecks, and I don't wash them all the time. The point is that I do. And I would never lower myself. Oh, I can't do that. I hire someone to do that. Some peon can do that. Some guy who didn't go to college can do that. It's like, motherfucker, that's me. I own the company. I work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. Oh, you don't want to have to work hard. You should have went to school. You wouldn't have to work so hard. You know, like, we got real problems here, guys. And if we don't get away from this mindset that everybody's going to be educated, everything needs to be safe, always listen to the experts. How many times have we heard that one? Listen to the experts. Where did that get us? We're in deep shit. And this rare earth situation is a perfect microcosm of what's going on. It's not that we can't do it. It's not that we don't have, people like to tell you that they're rare earths. You know, there's only a couple places on earth that have bullshit. They said that about lithium, right? America's got tons of lithium. America has tons of rare earths. Oh, we don't have as many as China. Bullshit. You know, there's something like 5 or 7 rare earth minerals that make up what they call rare earths. We have all of them. You know, do we have them in all quantities? No, but we have them all. The problem is we can't refine them because we can't make a fucking place that will refine that stuff because of all the smart people telling you that we don't want to do that here. We're going to have safe air, safe drinking water, and everything's going to be safe for every American. Meanwhile, you're not going to be able to get this stuff anymore, and it's going to get super expensive if you have to do it in America. And the only people that we have to blame are ourselves because we keep voting for this shit. We keep voting for it. Like, I didn't vote for any of this stuff. I don't know if anyone on here has voted for this stuff, but I'm starting to think that we're not actually voting for this stuff. You know, it's just being thrust upon us. You know, and we're just constantly told we can't do this and we can't do that. And I don't know how many of these casts I've done saying how pissed off it makes me. And everybody here tells me the same thing. They don't like it either. And they're not above picking strawberries and roofing a house and whatever, digging holes in the ground to make money. Like, whatever. Like, you do what you got to do. There's nothing wrong with that. These are all admirable jobs. Just because you dig ditches and you're not in finance, you're no better or worse than anybody else. Like, it takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. I've said it forever. Like, I couldn't run my company without my painter and my assembler and my sanders and my shipper. You know, just like none of them would have this job without me and my wife. You know, everybody works together. You know, and we don't all get paid the same. That's a completely different discussion. You know, I think that's about getting ready to change. But, yeah, I'm not going to sidebar on that one. so anyway, guys, like I said, this is the stuff that I want to talk about today. And like I said, go listen to that podcast. It's called The Daily. It's done by the New York Times. And these people are disgusting. They don't talk about the fact that we have all those minerals here. And it's not that we can't make that stuff. It's that they just stop supporting it. And this is what big business does. This is what politicians do. They will outsource anything that you let them outsource. They'll outsource it all, you know, and you white collar people, AI's coming for your fucking jobs, guys. The only way to beat AI is to be very creative, to make great designs, to have a business. It's the only thing you're going to be able to do, you know, because believe it or not, if you crunch numbers, if you're one of these people that looks at P&L statements, does accounting, like, you're fucked. Like, you're so fucked, guys. Like, you're gone. Like, the first opportunity I get, I'm going to shit can my accountant because she's $1,000 a month. Why would I keep her? The tax code's very simple. It's just literally just ones and zeros. You know, I just wouldn't do it, you know. So you got to learn to work with your hands because the hardest thing you can outsource working with your hands, right? AI isn't going to fix working with your hands, you know, unless Tesla figures out this humanoid robot thing. And if anybody can, man, I would never bet against Elon. So that's the next battle that we'll have to deal with, you know. So, but the first thing is don't sell your country out. Don't think that your citizens can't do anything. There's nothing this country can't do. This is the greatest country. This is the only country in the world where everybody is thieving and scheming and doing whatever they have to do to get into this country. How many people do you hear about trying to get to fucking China, right? How many people are begging to get into Saudi Arabia, Russia, you know, any of these places? You know, there's nobody. This is the only place that people are dying to get here. You know, so it's because we can do anything. We can do absolutely anything here. We are bound by nothing. That is the American dream, is to be able to do anything you want. We can do anything we want. We are bound by nothing. You know, so anyway, it's a long talk, guys. I'm sorry. It's this subject is something. I'm very passionate about it. Again, I say it all the time because I wear it as a badge of honor. No education. You know, never had a helping hand. Like the best helping hand I ever got. My parents, and I'll be honest with you guys, my parents tried to put me through school 2 or 3 times. They begged me to go to school. I didn't have it in me to sit. I didn't have it in me to sit there and learn. I just didn't. I had to do. I had to be on my feet, making things, cutting things, being in danger, breathing dust, hearing machines, watching things get built, running nail guns. It's what I had to do, and everybody's different, guys. But when we tell people they can't do something, you're relegating people to a life of poverty, a life of losing hope, a life of thinking they're not good at anything, they're never gonna be anything, and it's poison, man. It's fucking poison. You know, so we can do better. So anyway, go to the comments real quick, and then guys, I got to get out of here. So we got here. Plus, I think that they own a lot of rare earth mineral mines in Africa. They're trying to build. Yeah, and I'm sure they do. You know, and Africa's a completely different story. I mean, that whole country's fucked. You know, and the truth is that there's a lot of potential there, but until they get the right leadership, like that country's in rough shape. You know, but if anyone can help them, we definitely can. But we got our own problems to deal with. So yeah, if China wants to take all this over, let them. Like whatever, man. We'll figure it out. No, Sun Tzu, let's see, if there is a mineral, we don't have enough of it. Yeah, that's like, people don't understand how big America is. Like, Russia, I think, is the biggest of all the countries. But the truth is that if you could take, most of Europe and put it in America. Like, it fits just fine. You know, South America, same thing. Like, it all fits. I mean, just the state of Texas alone is as big as the country of India. The country of India fits in Texas. Yeah, we have everything here. We also have the best talent. And the reason everyone wants to come to America is not only do we have all the minerals and the forestry products, the oceans, all this kind of stuff, we have freedom, guys. Freedom. You know, and these fucking safety people, these people that tell you we can't do stuff here in America, these people are the devil. They're the people, they're as anti-American as it gets. It's disgusting to try to tell you, oh, you can't do that. We don't do that here. Fuck you. So, I'm going to end on that. Sorry, guys. I have a mouth on me. Funny thing, I never cuss around my mom. I have it in me to not say things. This is my safe space. Okay, so pick fruit. Oh, see who is going to pick the fruit is actually so wild. It's completely racist. It's just like what people were saying when they tried to free the slaves. Oh, who's going to pick the cotton? It's like, fuck you, man. People are wild. And these are educated people. Like it's I'm not gonna get into it. Seriously, man, how's the drip? Who's your guy? I think we do see that. Boost sugar. Okay, well, cool. This guy's got some good stuff. Okay, 0, 10 rag, but yeah, you get these people. The truth is, when I started doing this not full time, but when I started making these videos a lot, these kind of people were in here all the time, and I've noticed that if you keep doing the feed, you keep doing the stream, they go away. Yeah, you're still gonna get them, but most of them just go away. Let's see, if you have all the mineral resources, why do you invade? No, this is Lucy. No, you're 100% right. And that's all. We're slowly becoming aware of the fact that these wars and all the stuff that we do, like, these are sick people these are our own countrymen that are doing this shit. Like, we brought this all upon ourselves. Like, this isn't, no country provoked us in a way that warrants, sending your country to war. Even 9/11, we don't even know what the hell happened there. And odds are that we should have been attacking Saudi Arabia in that situation, to be quite honest with you. But that's not a political thing. We're all kind of aware of what's going on, and things will change eventually. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the people hanging out in the stream and participating in the discussion. I got some more discussions coming. I try and do these most days around 5, and we do What's in the Shop on Friday. I'll show everyone kind of what we're making, what's worked, what didn't work, painted furniture, stained furniture, and continue the life of a business owner, guys. It's an interesting life. So, okay, basketball, corporation, yeah, Tess, come back. We'll talk more about all this kind of stuff. But I gotta go, guys.